white line in a 50 kilometers an hour zone, overtaking. This is not unusual for Tanzania. Here's a 50 with 3 stripes through it, 4 stripes through it. That means we're now entering maximum up to 80 kilometers an hour in Tanzania. It is scary driving on the main road in Tanzania. I drive a Toyota Hilux Bucky with metal ARB front bumper, metal bumper at the back. The car weighs almost 3 tons. This is a tank I'm driving, and you must see the way that the buses overtake coming towards you. 3, sometimes 4 lanes squeezed into 2 lanes, and sometimes the buses overtake on the right where there's no space. And these poor old tuk-tuks here, the guy on the right hand side, he sometimes have to drive into the gravel kind of side lane or into the ditch just to avoid the buses that are coming past. It's not just the buses, it's other car drivers, it's taxis, it's delivery trucks like the guy in front of me. At the moment we're in this lane. The guy's going to overtake me now on the bridge. There we go, slowing just behind me, but I'm guessing he's going to push right past me. In front of me it's a blind hill, and this unfortunately is kind of the normal driving. This is normal Tanzanian driving, so that's a bit of a negative. The positive is that I haven't seen one single accident. Lots and lots and lots of near misses. Every hour you see 3, 4, 5 really close near misses. Traffic officer here on the left, guys in white, pull you over just to make sure you've got all the right documents. Have a quick look at the tread of your vehicle, make sure that you have, as a foreigner, third-party insurance, little document that's stuck to the inside of your window. I haven't really found massive corruption in Tanzania, to be honest, with the cops. I haven't. I got a speeding fine doing 57 in a 50 zone. It was on the downhill. I wasn't watching the speedometer. The car just increased in speed on the way down, and before I know it, the guys were pulling me over. My fault. I'm the driver of the car, my responsibility. That was a bit of a harsh 30,000 shilling fine, 200 South African rand, I guess. What is that, 15 US dollars? Not that bad in the end of the day. And then 4 days later I got a big 50,000 shilling fine in the middle of Arusha, and that was parking in an area that only if you're a local you knew that you're not allowed to park there. So guys clamped the vehicle, had to pay to have it released. Went to go speak to the local lodge owners of the camping site, and they said, yeah, that particular area is very unclear, and it's just one of those unlucky things. This is what you have to take into consideration when you're driving in not only Africa, but if you're driving in a foreign country. They have laws and bylaws that you're just not going to know. Thank goodness in Africa, coming from a South African point of view and a British point of view and a USA point of view, actually when you convert it into your home currency, it's not that big a fine. It's annoying. Nobody wants to give away free money effectively to the government, but it is one of those things. You have to set aside a little bit of money. I think I've had 4 fines, 2 in Tanzania, 4 in total for the last year and a half that I've been traveling. So really, it's, if you watch your speed limit, if you're nice, if you ask the locals, if you're unsure. So for instance, in Tanzania, you see a 50-kilometer sign, white background, black writing for 50, and a black rimmed around the round sign. It says 50, but what does it mean to have 4 stripes, diagonal stripes through the 50 zone? I had to ask a number of people. There wasn't really anything on the internet I could find, and eventually I found a couple of truck drivers that their English is incredibly good, and they basically said it means no more than 80. So you can go up to 80, but you know, it's difficult to find that out. So it is interesting driving in African countries. Beautiful scenery around you. Most of the time there's hardly any rubbish around. A few bottles here on the left hand side, but Tanzania, for instance, outlawed plastic bags. So if you go to your local supermarket, you won't be able to buy a plastic bag. And we were told by the customs officials when they entered the country that actually if you are stopped and if you really do have an officer that's in a bad mood and they decide to open up the back of your vehicle and they find plastic bags that you'd buy from your local supermarket in your vehicle, they can legally give you a fine. It's actually illegal not only to sell them and buy them in the country, but it's illegal to actually bring them into the country. Now the alternative little bag that you buy from the supermarket is it's half functional. It's not amazing, but also it's not terrible, and not bad price. I can't remember offhand what the price is, but it's sort of the normal pricing you would expect to pay. And the emphasis really there is to decrease the carbon footprint, all the mess around with plastic bags, so you don't really see any plastic bags at all around. Plastic bottles, plastic Coca-Cola bottles, water bottles. A lot of sub-Saharan poverty-stricken individuals still have to buy water from your local wholesaler in 5-litre bottles and 750 milliliter bottles, because the water quality is so poor that even the locals sometimes can't drink it. And you find a lot of those along the side of the road. You can see on the left hand side, maybe on the right hand side on the camera, lots and lots of bottles. Unfortunately, drinking something or eating something in your vehicle and throwing it out your car when you're driving seems to be quite the norm. Nobody really bats an eyelid, so I wouldn't be surprised if all the plastic bottles that you see on the left and right on the road here are from drivers, not from pedestrians, literally finishing up what they want and just open the window and it gets thrown out. It's kind of part of the culture, unfortunately, and it doesn't look like there's a big cleanup operation being done by government on a regular basis. But in terms of driving conditions, Tanzania road systems, generally pretty blinking awesome, to be honest. You got to watch out for the motorbikers, and the law in Tanzania says that you need to make sure that everything on the left is safe. So if a motorbike driver comes past me now on the left hand side, and believe you me, they do, even that little sliver of yellow line safety on the left, they can come hammering past me, and if they hit into me and something happens to them or their bike, I am actually to blame. So it's kind of a give way to the person on the left, not give way to the person on the right. You see the motorbike here on the right hand side. These locals know how to drive motorbikes on rocks, in sand, in gravel. They sometimes have 3 goats on the back of their motorbike. They sometimes have 4 or 5 gas canisters strapped to the back of their motorbike. What do you think can go on the back of the motorbike goes onto the back of the motorbike, and then some. I've seen 4 adults on the back of a motorbike, no problem whatsoever, and they're zooming along quite happy, chatting. Most of the guys on there, the passengers, are kind of on their cell phones while they're on the bike, or they're waving to their friends as they go past. They are so comfortable being on the back of a motorbike and driving a motorbike. It really is quite amazing to see what these guys do and what they strap to the back of motorbikes. I'm hoping that before I end this chat in the next minute or two, that we'll actually see some motorbikers with interesting things, because it is 5:30 in the evening here, and people are going home. I do wonder if they're going to take bags of charcoal or goats, sometimes a large sheep on the back of a motorbike, and really it's kind of normal here. But driving conditions are beautiful. The drivers are, look, they drive fast and they drive without much space for an error to happen. But as I say, I haven't seen one single accident. No fender bender, no bicycle being knocked over, no motorbiker being knocked over. And in the middle of a place like Arusha or Moshi in the north, the guys are driving fast. They're going around a large roundabout. You'd often have 7 or 8 motorbikers kind of taking up one lane, zigzagging in between to exit the roundabout, and the guys are good and actually mostly cool.